The only time when she did leave the plantation was when her husband became the governor of Virginia. She accompanied him to Richmond, where she served as the hostess. And of course, eventually she did go to the White House, despite her ill health, having had a stroke 2 years earlier, which left her confined to a wheelchair. By that point, she spent most of her time upstairs reading, and there were only 2 books she would read, the Bible and her book of prayers. She was devoted to ideas of piety and chastity from her childhood, and she remained strongly devoted to her faith and her ideas throughout the end of her life. But those close to her maintained that she still managed the house. She relied on her daughter, Letitia, named after her, to manage the household, and her daughter-in-law, Priscilla, who was the wife of her son Robert, to be the actual hostess. But she herself would quietly give the orders. Priscilla later said that she was the most unselfish person in the world, and that she would sit quietly and manage things without anyone even realizing that she was doing it. She would receive some visitors, even important visitors of state, in her upstairs rooms. For instance, literary giants Charles Dickens and Washington Irving visited her in her upstairs quarters to have intellectual conversations when they paid a visit to the White House. People often say that she played no active role in John Tyler's presidency, yet that is shown to be untrue when you really read more about them. She acted as his confidant throughout his presidency as long as she was alive. He would go to her to discuss the difficult matters of state which were troubling him, and although she didn't really read much besides the Bible and the Book of Prayers by this point, she knew about politics. She always had kept some knowledge of it so that she could advise him and discuss these matters with him intelligently, and he relied strongly on her advice. I think he appreciated that she was at least one person who would remain devoted to him. Right after they were married, he wrote in a letter to her, in fact, the only letter that remains between them, no matter where the river of fortune would take him, no matter what happened in his political career or his fortunes or whether he grew more wealthy or poor, nothing would ever stop him from loving her. And he indeed remained very devoted to her. In fact, he left a couple of different political positions so that he could return to the plantation and be closer to her, especially when she wasn't doing well. Being devoted to his wife and his family were very important things for him, and he retired from politics a couple of times because not only did he want to be close to his family, but he needed to make more money so that he could educate his children as he wanted to, because the salary of a congressman was very low at that time. Although she did not act as the hostess for any events besides attending the wedding of her daughter, Letitia Tyler remained very favorably viewed in the eyes of the public, in her own days and shortly after. People really loved her, and they thought of her very fondly. And after her death, she was highly regarded, and her body lay in state in the East Room, and she was given great honors as the first Lady to die while still holding that office.